So a very good afternoon to everyone present over here. I am Kanak Batwal, the moderator of the National Virtual Mediation Competition, Chapter 2, organized by Law Internships, the online law school, in association with JMVD Legal. It is our pleasure to welcome you all today for the final round. I wholeheartedly welcome our eminent judge and the participants from all over the country. We have amongst us Rajiv Rampatla, sir. Sir is the head of King's Tub and Kasiva, Hyderabad office. He focuses primarily on the commercial litigation, consumer litigation, arbitration, company law, and regulatory issues. He has a considerable experience in dealing with complex litigation matters and has been a recommended counsel for many multinational corporations during his business in India and abroad. He also advised and represented a major public sector oil and gas company in the arbitration proceedings before the Karnataka Arbitration Center of Bangalore. Sir also acts for a number of Indian companies, particularly in the context of high-profile commercial litigation and dispute resolution cases. Some of the clients that Sir advises include Citibank, Standard Chartered Bank, Syndicate Bank, Aditya Birla Group, Tata Motors, Reliance Group, Renault, Nissan, and many others. It is a pleasure to have you amongst us, sir. We welcome you. Sir, with your due permission, shall we begin the round?
Thank you so much for that introduction. Yes, please begin.
Over to you, mediators.
Sir, is I'm audible and visible?
Yes, very much visible and audible, loud and clear. Please start.
Shall I proceed? A very good morning to everyone present in this session. I hope you and your family is doing good in this time of pandemic. Myself, Jia, I am the mediator along with my co-mediator for today's session. Let me tell you, I'm having 10 years of experience in this field of mediation, and I assure you, my expertise will surely help you to achieve an amicable solution. On the very onset, I would request both the parties to introduce themselves. Parties, please introduce yourself. Party A.
Good afternoon to everyone present here. This is Ms. Susan Ambani, who is the owner of the team Bombay Mervix.
Thank you, Party A. Party B, please introduce yourself.
Indeed, mediator ma'am. This is Ima Sikri, the counsel on behalf of the state government.
Thank you, Party 2. I congratulate both the parties for choosing this platform of dispute resolution to resolve their issues through virtual mediation in such uncertain time of pandemic. I'm sure you will not regret this because mediation does have success rate, and this is purely because whole process of mediation is driven by client and their counsel authorized by them. I hope both of you are authorized by your client to attend this session. Are you guys authorized by your client to attend this session?
Yes, mediator. I am in full capacity to come with any settlement or to sign any endeavor to come up with in this due process of mediation.
Thank you, parties. As well as this mediation process is completely voluntary. Therefore, I hope you both are here voluntarily. And I assure you that we will not impose anything on you. We are just here to facilitate the mediation process and help you reaching to a conclusion or an agreement. I would also like to talk about the confidentiality aspect. By confidentiality, we mean two layers of confidentiality. One, that whatever we will discuss here in the joint session will not go outside. And other is private caucus. In private caucus, if you wish to share any confidential information to us and you want that information should be remain confidential, we will not share this information to another party. I hope both of you have signed the confidentiality agreement before coming here. Thank you, party.
Yes, I signed the confidentiality clause, but it would be of great help if you can send a copy of the confidentiality clause to our email, because since it's happening in virtual platform, we would ensure that you are sending it through mail.
Sure, parties, we will mail you after the session. Also, I want to add that we are impartial. By this sense, we mean we are not favoring any party in this mediation session. I also encourage both the parties to come up with ideas without hesitating. As well as we will settle some agendas after your opening statement that will be again confirmed by you both, and we will move forward while discussing those agendas. So confidentiality and impartiality are the key aspect of mediation, and that would be maintained by us. I assure you we will help you to reach certain conclusion or an agreement. So over to you, my co-mediator. My co-mediator will define much more aspects of mediation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shia. At the outset, I must state that I'm absolutely thrilled along with Shia to be part of this mediation, simply because we are ardent fans of both the Mumbai Mavericks and the state government of Mumbai, given that we've been citizens of Mumbai for the last 10 years and we've seen the sort of infrastructure development that's been brought about by state government of Mumbai, and we've also been supporters of the IPL. So we've been watching you, and it's a matter of great honor and pleasure to be part of this session. That being said, we will remain completely impartial and unbiased throughout the session. At any point of time, should you feel like you're not being heard, we do have an aspect called the caucus, where we will take you into a private session where you can confide in us in a private capacity, and nothing that you say in the caucus will be revealed to the other party unless otherwise you advise us to do so. That being said, when I explain the process of mediation to parties, I often tell them that it's a dialogue, right? It is a dialogue between two parties, really helping each other understand where you're coming from, putting forth what your interests are, what you're looking to achieve, and then also placing yourselves in each other's shoes to better understand each other's positions. Now, what this will create is an environment of, it will create an environment wherein you will be able to sort of understand your commonalities and, bring together your synergies to eventually reach a middle ground and a possible amicable solution. And like my co-mediator Shia has mentioned, there are plenty of aspects of mediation, such as confidentiality, the fact that this process is completely driven by you and not us, because we're not judges here. Any decisions that are arrived at are by you and based on your deliberations in this session. So I believe that this environment is extremely conducive for you to come about to a mutually amicable solution. That being said, our role as mediators here is simply as facilitators, and we will be helping you structure the next 40 minutes in a manner that will help you make most efficient use of your time. And now what we will be doing is we will quickly go into opening remarks from both parties. We'll sort of understand what your interests are, why you come here today. Then we will sort of lay down an agenda, and that will be discussed one agenda after another. And this will be followed by closing remarks as and when the sort of time has come to close, right? That being said, we do sort of have to follow a couple of rules so that the session progresses peacefully and in a manner that there is no interruptions. Since this is a virtual session, I completely understand if any of you have any issues with the platform that we're using. Please feel free to let us know at any point of time should you face any technical difficulties. I'd encourage you to sort of mute yourself when you're not speaking and only unmute yourself when you're speaking. And also, please make sure that you use parliamentary language, be respectful of each other. At the same time, I encourage you to be completely honest, lay all your cards on the table, and just communicate as freely as possible. And we as mediators shall ensure that that environment is created for you. That being said, I will pass it over to you. We invite Mumbai Mavericks Council Susan to go ahead with her opening remarks. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, mediators, for wonderfully explaining the process of mediation. So, and also I thank the Council for the Government of Indiana for agreeing to be a part of this mediation. I'm sure this mediation session will help us resolve our conflict and will help both of us to land at an amicable solution. So I would like to begin by saying that cricket is one of the most popular sports in Indiana, and its craze is very huge in the country. To spread this fervor of sport, the BCCI is organizing the Indiana Premier League annually, and my team, Mumbai Mavericks, has always emerged as one of the strongest teams in the league, and also we have won the championship position quite many times compared to other teams in the league. But now, such a strong team is lacking a proper stadium in the country to practice, because of which there are many drawbacks faced by the team. Like the present stadium, we have a deteriorating pitch, a ground not fit for the team to practice. There are so many drawbacks for the team, because of which we are not able to win. The government is in mere silence about the construction of new stadium for the past 1 decade, although we had been constantly requesting them about the construction of the same, but they are in mere silence. And also we have other aspects, like we are there to fund some amount from our side, and also there's so much local enthusiasm in the city for the construction of new stadium. But if the same silence from the government side is persisting for a very long time. Now the lease expires and the team will be moving to another city. But we don't want to do that abruptly because there are so many fans for the team, and for the cricket, there are so many fans for the team's players. So we don't want to disappoint them by moving to another city. So I think the government will consider these conditions and will consider these situations, and they'll come and negotiate with us, and we can get a better solution about the construction of a new stadium. So that goes with my opening statement.
Thank you, Party A, for such a beautiful opening statement. Over to you, Party B. Please give your opening statement.
I hope I'm completely visible and audible.
Yes, Emma, you are.
Much obliged to Mediator ma'am for acknowledging and highlighting the procedure of mediation. Several failure attempts of negotiation makes the party move to mediator. Hope we both get an amicable solution here. The magnitude of this conflict is unspeakable as it involves public interest rooted in the sport of cricket and other stakeholders' livelihood as well. This is not only just an ongoing conflict, but it got all the spotlights and became one of the high-profile issues. Undoubtedly, the support of cricket fans with Mumbai Mavericks, the issues and challenges before the state government is like a drop in the ocean. I am on behalf of the state government and I will do with utmost effort to put forth all the challenges in view of this conflict going on. Several failure attempts of negotiation makes this issue and the party to move towards the mediation. Sports for Cricket of Indiana is not just medals; they are emotionally invested in these games. The city of Mumbai is cricket's home in Indiana. More than a sport, cricket is likely to an emotion. One of the prominent reasons for the vast popularity of cricket is IPL, founded by BCCI in 2007. And Wankhede is the famous icon of Mumbai, which is the witness for greatest tournaments, not only national but also international events. It is point worthy to mention that the core responsibilities are focused at facilitating the youth and sports development through the establishment of a conducive policy environment that provides strategic support system initiatives for community-based youth-led programs, which is not biased only a sport. The essence of this game in relation to the people's emotion and affection for the players is not expressible, but I think I may create an impact over you.
Thank you both the parties for describing their concern. By listening to you both, I think party is concerned about the construction of a new stadium as well as the depleting and deteriorating state of a stadium. Is that correct, party?
Yes, absolutely right.
And party B is not, I think the concern of party B is as follows, that party B is not ready for the construction of a new stadium, but party B is ready to provide a new policy for the youth for sport establishment, right?
Yes, Mediator ma'am.
So describing the agendas for today's session, I think we have 3 agendas for today's session. First one is the construction of a new stadium. Second one is depleting and deteriorating state of existing stadium. And third is the policy, which Party B is talking about, policy for youth, for sports establishment, right?
If I may add one more agenda to the existing ones, I think it is also it is necessary for us to discuss about the funding for the construction of the stadium. Like I think we should first discuss about if we are going to construct a new stadium, how the funding is going to happen, like how much contribution we're going to get from the state government side. So I think we as the team, I think it is very important for us to know that. So if the mediators permit, can you please add that as one of the agenda?
Yeah, sure. So describing the sequence of the today's agenda, I think we will discuss about the policy for youth for sports establishment, and second one is construction of a new stadium. Third one is depleting and deteriorating state of existing stadium, as well as funding by state government for the construction of a new stadium. Is it all right with the team?
Is it possible for us to change the order? Like first, let us discuss about the construction and the funding, and then we can move about to the policies. Because if the government is not ready to negotiate with the first 2 agendas, then I think it's not going to be of more use about discussing the policy. So I think we can first discuss about the construction funding and then go with the policies as stated by the government.
Yeah,
Is
the party B is also agreed upon the statement made by party A. So it would be better if you consider the financial assistance first.
So okay, financial assistance first. So we will having construction of a new stadium as our first agenda, along with the funding of construction. What will be the fund will be provided by the state government for the construction of a new stadium. Is the party willing to discuss about the depleting and deteriorating state of existing stadium?
I think that will be covered with the first agenda itself. So let's not bring that into, as a new one.
Okay, fine. So this is like construction and renewal of a stadium, as well as along with the funding by state government. And second one is new policy for youth for sports establishment, right?
Yes.
Is it okay with the team if we move ahead with joint conference first?
Yes,
It
mediator.
would be a great news if we have a private caucus first, and then we can move to the general conference.
Maybe I can encourage the parties to speak a little bit about the first agenda, and then we can move into a private caucus, because it will help you gain perspective on what the other party has to say. I'd strongly advise we spend like a couple of minutes in conference, and then we can definitely move into a caucus should you require.
Okay, but I think I have a different opinion, because from my side, I actually have certain confidential information which I think the mediators must know before we enter into the conference. So if your mediators agree, can you please have the private caucus first and then move on to the general conference?
That's what you wanted. We can definitely do that. We're more than willing to do that. Yeah.
Party B, are you okay with that?
Indeed, ma'am. If party A thinks so, I am okay with it.
Moderator, please arrange a private caucus for us.
Is the private caucus going to happen in the same room? Or
Yes.
this moderator?
Yes, it'll be happening here. Don't worry.
Party B is not here. So before moving ahead, I assure you this meeting shall remain confidential until and unless you want us to reveal the information. We will not reveal it. So go ahead. And one more thing, please don't hesitate. We encourage you to come with new ideas, new conclusion, what you want. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, mediators. I really hope that the information whichever I share here will remain confidential. So firstly, the first confidential information I think I should say you is that last week I received an offer from the Brilliance Industry Limited with regards to construction of a new stadium. So this is one of the top businesses in the world, and now they have proposed an offer for us to construct a new stadium, and also they have guaranteed that they are going to, if we are in the process of constructing a new stadium, they'll be funding 50% of the construction cost. But at the same time, this company has laid down two important conditions for us. If they need to fund, then we need to satisfy two of the conditions. Firstly, it is that it wants the name of the stadium to change to Brilliance Wakande Stadium, and secondly, it wants to buy a majority stake in the Mumbai Mavericks team, and then and the team also has to be renamed to Brilliance Mumbai Mavericks. So for sure, the terms which the company has fixed in, they are not going to go well with the state government policies, because definitely there is going to be some conflict between these conditions and the state government's policy. So I think this is the first confidential information which I should say to the mediators, and I ensure that I will itself tell it to the state government if the situation needs so. I request the mediators to not reveal this information unless and until the council asks. And secondly, also, as I mentioned earlier, as this new season is going to begin, I want the construction activities to be completed in very few months, because the Mumbai Mavericks also want to participate in this edition of the IPL. So if the mediators can help this conversation go smoothly and can help the team arrive at a solution quickly.
Party, I may ask you a question.
Yes.
I want to ask that if you are okay with the renewal of the existing stadium, are you okay with that?
Renewal, I think, can you please substantiate about that, mediator? Renewal, do you want the renovation of the stadium?
Renewal of the existing stadium. You both have acknowledged the fact that your state is still having existing stadium in your state, right?
Yes, the stadium is already existing in Mumbai, but the fact is that the stadium is way more old. Okay, it was built so many years back, and after during the 2011 World Cup, the stadium actually went to an upgradation. But it has been so long, like 2011, and now it's 2020. It's 2020, so nearly it's like more than 10 years. So I think it is very important for us to reconstruct the entire stadium and upgrade it, because we need other facilities to be even more better facilities to be inculcated in the new project. So that's why we need a reconstruction.
Pari, sorry to interrupt. We are not having much time, but just let me. Please tell me that what you want in the new stadium. That how much sitting occupancy? Do you want any luxury boxes? Do you want a good pitch? What lighting you want? Please tell me. Go ahead.
Yes, sure, mediator. So firstly, the seating capacity before the renovation, that is before 2011, seating capacity was like around 60,000. But when the new stadium was but when after the renovation, the seats were reduced only to 30,000. So right now, everybody everybody in the city and most population in India are like so much towards cricket, and they are a huge fan of cricket. And nowadays, whenever match is happening in the stadium, we get a large number of crowd coming to watch the match. But the seating capacity is not up to the mark, so is not up to the capacity, and I think the seating can be extended like around 75,000, something around that. And also we want other facilities like luxury boxes to be arranged in the order of silver, gold, and platinum for the VIPs. And also we want to increase the lighting of the stadium, electricity supplied, and better like a separate room for the medical practitioners, and better rooms for the players to refresh. And we have like certain facilities which needs to be included in the present upcoming project.
Thank you, Party A. Thank you. Ma'am, shall we have Party B in the private caucus, please?
Hi, Emma. Can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am. I think I have faced some network issues. That is why I was unable to join it again.
You're right on time. No worries. Don't worry about that at all. I must assure you that anything that you say during this session will remain completely confidential, and we will not be disclosing it to the other party unless and otherwise you advise us to do so. So I encourage you to be completely honest. Be as free as possible with us, because we are here to listen. That being said, I must convey to you that the other party has mentioned to us that they are looking to discuss the possible new construction of a new stadium or the renovation of a new stadium. So perhaps you could comment on it. And they've mentioned to us that it's a time-sensitive issue, so they would like this issue to sort of be resolved at the earliest. So keeping that in mind, I'd like you to go ahead.
Indeed, ma'am, and thanks for the acknowledgement. The conflict pertains to the construction of a new stadium, and it is point worthy to mention that the city is already overpopulated, having a great infrastructure that makes the city congested. Hence, taking over lands will anyhow affect the livelihood of the communities. As mentioned, that congested city makes us acquire some land or forest land or coastal zone maybe. How the government will ensure the coastal regulation along with the environmental norms. That is why state government is up for revamping over the reconstruction. So we will assure one thing, that we will consider reconstruction of this existing stadium, and we will contribute 40% of the financial assistance for this new stadium renovation, because the government doesn't support the idea of creating luxury boxes as mentioned by the party A. So we will ensure this thing only with the condition, if they provide us uh, um, good number of corporate elites over that, then only we will consider the number of luxury boxes in view of the common man interest. Then the note
If I may, can I just, I need to understand this. You are in favor of revamping the old stadium and not constructing a new stadium, right?
because anyhow it will affect the livelihood of the communities, because taking over the land will affect them. and the city of Mumbai is already congested and overpopulated.
Is there anything else that you would like to disclose to us? Anything that we should keep in mind while mediating?
Yeah. And lastly, the conflict which is pertinent is cricket is overshadowing other sports regards to the youth mind. The non-cricket fans don't think cricket should be given so much privilege over the other forms of entertainment. Even the local support is not with the construction of this new stadium. That is why the state government is concerned about.
Maybe
Co-mediator,
yeah,
co-mediator, I want to ask one thing. May I?
yeah, sure.
Ma'am, what you were party B, you are talking about a new policy for youth. Can you please
Yeah.
elaborate some points on that? Please go ahead. What is the
Yeah.
new policy you are talking about?
Okay. I thought I will disclose it before them also, but it is fine.
Is there any,
The
ma'am, is there any, actually, I want to ask, is there any confidential information regarding that new policy you are having? No?
nothing
There is no,
such.
okay.
No.
Thank you.
So perhaps you can discuss the policy for youth in the conference. And would you like me to discuss the aspect of the citizens being in favor of other sports than
Yes.
cricket? That's something
Yeah.
you
Even I would like to discuss the sports and youth-led programs that in respect of the circumstances to protect the interest of non-cricket fans as well. So in support of that, I have mentioned the sports and youth-led programs on behalf of the state government.
Sure. I will make sure to convey this to the other party. Can I ask the moderator to let the other party in, please? Hi, Susan. I hope you're doing well. So we've had a chat with both parties, and I see that there is a lot of common ground. Both Shia and I agree that there are things are looking very positive and looking upwards, given the number of common points that you do have in mind. Perhaps I can just brief Susan that what the state government of Mumbai is looking forward to is the reconstruction of the existing stadium, and they would prefer it over the construction of a new stadium altogether. And this is in light of them being concerned with, say, taking over of lands and the associated environmental concerns, and the fact that Mumbai is a very congested city. I'm sure Council for State Government of Mumbai will elaborate on this, but this is something that she would like you to keep in mind. And she's also mentioned that they're willing to sponsor up to 40% of the reconstruction cost. So this is also something that I'd like you to keep in mind when you make your remarks to her.
Ma'am, I would like to add one thing in that. Can I?
Yeah.
Actually,
please.
party A, party B is willing that they will give you a number of luxury boxes that you want, but only one condition: they want good number of corporate elites. There is one condition by them that they want a good number of corporate elites, as well as they are ready for reconstruction with 40%. And summarizing the demands and the concern of party A, we are having they want the construction of a new stadium in just very few months, as well as they want the sitting occupancy to be 70,000 plus. Party A, can you please tell us what amount of financial aid you are wanting from the government side?
Firstly, the funding, with regards to the funding part, I'm so happy that the government has accepted to fund 40%. And I just want to ask one thing: if the government wants to fund 40% for the reconstruction or for the renovation?
They are investing 40% for the renovation of the existing stadium.
Okay. So actually, if we go for a construction of a new stadium, then the team, along with some other stakeholders, which the team doesn't want to reveal right now, we can actually sponsor up to 80% of the total amount for the construction. So the government will only need to fund 20% for the remaining amount for the construction of a new stadium. So all that the council wants is a construction of a new stadium and not renovation, because of the existing stadium is already very in a dilapidated state. So we want only a reconstruction, a full construction of the stadium. So if we go with the construction, then the council can even fund up to 80%, the government needs to fund only 20%. But and also with some, we have some other conditions for that. If we need to fund 80%, so if the government is ready to hear all the conditions, then we can proceed with that.
Party B, your concern regarding this?
Yeah, indeed, mediator ma'am. With reference to the statement made by the party A, first of all, I would like to mention that we are the state government and I am the council of the state government. So according to my knowledge, Indiana is a democratic country. We are being a democratic country and a citizen of a democratic nation. The union of state makes this nation, and for the people, by the people and of the people, being the essence of a democratic nation, we first of all consider the nation's interest over here. Though we will be benefited after contributing just only 20% of the financial assistance to the construction, but the livelihood of the communities and the employment rate will get anyhow affected by this. So we will consider renovation over the over reconstruction of our existing stadium. So we will consider revamping.
So Party B, you are ready to revamping by aiding 40% in that. You're
Yes,
not ready
only
for construction of a new
reconstruction.
stadium.
Yeah, just 40% is for renovation, not for construction, and we are not supporting that that we have to reconstruct the existing stadium. We will revamp it.
So if the state government may look into this fact that you are okay, like what you mentioned was that the livelihood is going to be affected, the employment opportunities are going to be affected. This, I think I don't want to even tell this to the state government council, that the state government also has something called the 100 days employment opportunity. Like if you can actually think, we can increase the employment opportunity in the due process of construction of a new stadium. If livelihood is the only problem of the government, this you can think in this way, right? Like when you are going to construct a new stadium, it is actually going to employ a large number of people. Like so many people have to be involved in this, and it will also, and as the state government's duty is to look into every aspect of the society, the sports industry is also one of the important industry in the society, and it is already hit very badly by the pandemic. So I think the government can actually look into this issue about the construction of a new stadium.
Yeah. May I speak now?
Yeah, Party B, go ahead.
Indeed, ma'am. With reference to the statement made, whatever the council on behalf of Mumbai Mavericks is pointing out is a short-term plan. The people over that stadium who are concerned for reconstruction, who are not, they are the local communities. They are not willing to leave their land first of all. So anyhow, we have to acquire the land for a construction purpose, and then they have to leave their agriculture as their only source. And then this, according to the location, the coastal area also get affected. If we consider the construction of it, then the main groups will also get affected. That is why we don't want this headache for the state government. Though we also appreciate the I appreciate the scheme that Mumbai Mavericks has given.
So parties, I think we have very less time left. So we should move towards the closing statement. Before going ahead, I would like to conclude what we have discussed in this session. First thing is that Party A demanding 20% financial aid from the government side for the construction of a new stadium. On the other hand, Party B is ready to invest 40% only in the renovation of the existing stadium, right? Okay, fine. So shall we go ahead with the closing statement of both the parties?
Perhaps I can add a little bit before that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So something that I encourage parties that come to mediation is that I request parties to come up with a more concrete budget proposal, perhaps. You know, it'll help put things into perspective for you in terms of the exact financials, because you are discussing in terms of percentages at the moment, and that doesn't give a very clear picture of the exact amount you will have to sort of provide, right? So with that in mind, I think you must consult. I would strongly advise that you consult your teams and your superiors and your colleagues to come up with a more concrete budget proposal for both a construction of a new stadium as well as revamping of an old stadium. And also to make up for, I would suggest that the Council for Mumbai Mavericks, Susan, can also sort of help understand the position of the state government in terms of the displacement of the common man that will take place should there be a new construction. And perhaps you can come up with creative solutions both ways. I would suggest both the parties go back, brainstorm with your teams, and come back. And this will help greatly in you both reaching a middle ground in the next session that we have, should you require it. With that, I'm extremely happy with the sort of progress that you both have made. I see that there is a lot of scope for dialogue, and there is a lot of potential here. And there are tons of common points that you both can definitely work on. With that, I would pass it on to you. Susan, you can go ahead with your closing remarks.
Thank you so much, mediators. So firstly, very big thanks to both of you for taking us throughout this process of mediation smoothly. And also, I would just like to add this in my closing statement that anyways, I would just like to bring this to the notice of the government that anyways, investing a very small amount in the construction of the stadium is only going to help you because you're going to turn over all the investments as taxes. Okay, so tax is one of the very important aspects in any country. It is a very major source of income for every government. So if you are investing in the construction of a new stadium, you're going to get even better taxes, and the government is going to get better income. I think this is like the closing state. I would like to add this in my closing statement. And also that Bombay Mavericks has always brought laurels to the state government by becoming the winners of the league so many times. So the government can actually trust us, and they can also help us come with a new stadium. And I think we'll be able to resolve this in the future sessions of the mediation. Thank you so much, and I'm hoping for the next session too.
Yeah. With reference to the statement made by party A, first of all, I would like to mention that the time spent on road and fighting for a good seat could be more productively be used in Wankhede with all comfort of the spectator. First of all, she mentioned that it would be a very great opportunity for the state government. Indeed, it will be. But considering the livelihood and the amount of land that we will acquire for a new land to reconstruct a stadium, then that will anyhow affect the livelihood. So government will not appreciate their citizens' problem over the revenue that we will generate. So we are not supporting this view. But in my closing statement, I would like to give that as this mediation come to an end, and the representative on behalf of party B with mediator side will write down all the terms and terms of the settlement, and will fully sign the agreement. And if to add more into it, if the financial committee of BCCI would provide us the exact blueprint of the financial assistance to be needed, then only the state government will give their assent for the same. Because as we all know, BCCI is not a state entity, and they shouldn't be depend on the government for financial assistance, but concerning the directive states principles and the nation's interest, we are up for the renovation. In respect of the nature of mediation, I am aware of the fact of the settlement has the binding nature of the contract, and it is note of sincere thanks to your work during our mediation, though I have not reached to the solution of my two agendas, but thank you for this significantly easier to bear mediation process.
If the mediators allow, can you just give one statement as a response to the party B's closing statement?
Most definitely, yeah. Perhaps you can also just, I forgot to mention this when I spoke about this earlier. Perhaps something you can take back is also the fact that the Emma wants you to discuss and sort of think about how you can promote non-cricket initiatives in the state of Mumbai. Perhaps you can discuss this with your team. This happened to be an interest that was not really discussed during the session, but this is something we can talk about in the next session, I'm sure. You can go ahead and we can close after that.
Yes, sure. So while during the closing statement of Party B, she mentioned about that. She mentioned that PCCA is not a state authority, and like she was mentioning something about that. But stadium is one of the public use. So I think it is the sole responsibility of the government and not the PCCI to construct a new stadium. And it is the citizens, I mean, it is the natives and the citizens of the country or be the state who are going to use the stadium along with the cricket players. So I think it is very important for the government only to fund with for about the funding of the construction of new stadium. But even after that, we are not sure if the government will able to fund a large amount for the construction during this pandemic time. So the team as well as the team stakeholders, we have all agreed upon spending. We are about to take a majority of the funding part in our hands, and we are just giving a very small portion to the government's hand. So I think the government can consider, they can consult with other legal advisors and other people in the state government, and they can come up about the construction of a new stadium. Thank you so much.
I think you can definitely come up with the proposals that as requested by the other party, and then that will help put things into perspective for both of you. Shia, would you like to add something? We can close shortly after.
I thank both the parties and my co-mediator for helping me in facilitating this mediation session. It's good to see that parties could agree to something, because it's good to have something than nothing. And at any step, if I and my co-mediator had overstepped, we are sorry for that. And I assure you, in the next session, we will surely help you to reach a fruitful conclusion or an agreement. Thank you for this session. Thank you. Go ahead, mediator.
I think she has wrapped it mostly. I don't have anything to add. I think this was a very, very productive session for both Susan and Emma. We are happy that we met you. We will email you the details, or we can communicate on WhatsApp and sort of figure out what date we want to meet next week, or maybe the week after that, whenever both of you are ready with your proposals. And I'm sure that next session will be extremely productive as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. So I, Kanak Batwal, on behalf of the Law Internship, the Online Law School, extend a hearty gratitude to our judge who honored us with this enlightening session by being a judge of the Virtual Mediation Competition 2022, Chapter 2, and took out time in his busy schedule. I must also mention a deep sense of appreciation to all the participants who actively participated today. Hope this round was a great learning and exciting experience as well for all of you. Thank you again, one and all. Sir, would you like to give any feedback to the participants?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for that, Kanak. And thank you all for making this such an enlightening and entertaining session. Sorry, first of all, if I kept going on and off between my video. I'm actually not feeling too well. I tested COVID positive a few days back. Just having a lot of cough right now. Anyway, having said that, I think this is a great session. Very nice to see that there's such young lawyers taking interest in mediation and other forms of ADR. So very nice that you guys are doing this, and I think the session itself is very well structured and very well laid out. And I think all of you guys played your roles very important in a very important and nice way. Especially both the mediators, I think great job, and parties as well. There are a few things that I noticed that maybe could have been done differently. Like for example, it did look like the same points, at least for a certain stretch of the session, the same points were being repeated over and over again. So it was a little redundant and felt like a little bit of time was maybe wasted there. But other than that, I think it was great and it was very well done. But just a few pointers, maybe you guys can. I know all of you are law students. So it's very important to have practical solutions or practical aspects incorporated into your sessions. But if you could just think a little broadly and just try to think from a practical or from a commercial standpoint, maybe that would help you guys, give you some perspective. Like for example, I don't want to take too much time, but for example, I think one of the discussions that kept happening between party A and party B is regarding either 40% funding by the state government for renovation or 20% funding for construction of a new stadium. Now, I think there was too much time spent on 40%, 20%, 40%, 20%, but I think the actual crux of the matter there was whether to go for renovation or whether to go for construction of a stadium. Right? I think time should have been spent on that rather than on the percentage or who will pay how much. Because first, until unless you decide whether you will renovate or whether you will reconstruct, you cannot decide who will put how much money for what. Right? I think maybe that should have been decided first. Secondly, I think one of the concerns of the government was regarding the land. Now, there is already a stadium, the same there is no need for a fresh land. The same stadium can be demolished and the same land can be used, right? There is no use for the old stadium once a new stadium is being constructed. The same land can be used. So I think that was a simple solution to that argument. I think, yeah, but then again, these are things that come to you practically after you attend so many mediation and arbitration proceedings. These are practical solutions that you see when certain parties are having issues. So maybe you guys can also learn to think along these lines, so that your future sessions will be much more fruitful and the discussions will be, very, very professional. So it was great. Other than that, it was great. I think all of you guys did a great job, and congratulations to all of you for making it to the final, and good luck for the results.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you
sir.
so
And
much, sir.
take care of yourself and your health.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. You can just leave the meeting. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Kanak and Harshita.